Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We have Bilgi here with us today. She is a professor of psychological counseling, a mindful school trainer, and a founder of Mindful Schools Institute in Turkey, and an author. Thank you very much for joining us today. So Bilgi is going to talk about 5 steps in effective mindful leadership. Okay, Bilgi, you can start. The floor is yours.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you for your invitation, first of all. Well, I'm a professor at Psychological Counseling and Guidance Department at Bahçeşehir University. So for many years, I've been working on mindfulness for 10 years. At the beginning, I started with teacher training, actually, because I developed a curriculum for the primary school and then secondary school. And now we've been doing the early childhood, but at the same time, I thought that everything mindful schools should start with the leaders, school leaders especially. So then I developed the school leadership program, and then I completed a couple of training, like for example, Search Inside Yourself, which is used in Google and SAP and Microsoft and so on, and international level. And also, I did this a couple of times at university in different semester and different firms, actually. And then I started to use this in a culture sensitive style, because I believe that mindfulness, yes, it's coming from eastern part of the world. It's based on the meditation, as you know. It's coming from Buddhism. It is being here and now without judgment and compassionately accepting yourself, accepting your thoughts, and watching, observing your thoughts and feelings like coming and going. It's based on mindfulness skills, mindful skills, actually, but it should be culture sensitive, I believe, because the meditation, it's not an easy thing, actually. If you have the beginner minds, for example, like all the people have beginner minds at the beginning, for example, you cannot concentrate on like more than 3-5 minutes. If you educate your mind, you can stay concentrated on yourself, like for example 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then like 45 minutes. So that's why it should be culture sensitive. What this culture sensitive is, it is related with the culture you are living in. Like for example, in Turkey, although we have some thoughts, things, skills, abilities, and practices, for example, they are not familiar with the meditation. Nowadays, I know this is really popular for the young people, especially, but since our culture is like different from the Eastern culture, so people's minds in general are not like focused mind, concentrated or educated mind. So that's why it should be culture sensitive. Mindfulness and other things. For example, when you do meditation, you get a position like, for example, upright position, and cross the legs and sit silently and close the eyes and take a deep breath and inhale and exhale or something. But it is also not in our culture in general. Every culture has different practices. For example, in Muslim cultures like us, for example, in Turkey, most of the people are from Muslim religion. So people are not getting used to do this meditation, but there are some other practices, for example, praying, looking inside or something like that. But believe me, they are all almost the same things. Like, for example, in the Christianity or the Catholicism or the Buddhism, everything is same, but different kind of practices. But the main thing is to connect the light in your hearts. Some people call it as God. Some people call it as energy. Some call it as soul, light, enlightenment, or something like that. But all of them bring you to connect with yourself at the beginning, compassionate to yourself, understand your thoughts, understand your body. Your body is your home, and look after good to your body, for example. And then if you love yourself, if you connect yourself better, And if you have an intrapersonal relationship, means like relationship with yourself, then you can get a good relationship with the other people. So that's why, I mean, in different style, which is culture sensitive mindfulness, actually, I can tell you that we provide that to people. Like, instead of saying that you should do the meditation, for example, you should wear leggings and you should cross the legs and you should sit on the couch or something. You can sit, upright position on a chair or on a couch or something, but you can do anytime. John Kabat-Zinn, who is the developer, founder of mindfulness, MBSR program, mindfulness-based stress reduction program, said that mindfulness is not an action, it's a state of mind. So if you can have ability to concentrate on your mind, where your body is, for example, this is kind of like mindfulness. But when you educate your mind, you can get it expanded, so you can concentrate more. Of course, mindfulness is not only be aware of the here and now in time or something. It's Shapiro theory especially said that 2 dimensions of mindfulness mainly. One is awareness, like, for example, getting the word from your 5 senses: smelling, tasting, touching, seeing, and hearing. And on the other dimension includes values, like, for example, loving kindness, gratitude, generosity, forgiveness, compassion to other people, empathy, or something like that. So these are the issues, practices mainly based on mindfulness. As you know, mindfulness was developed. My MBSR program, the MBSR program, was developed in 1976 and spread all over the world. But after spreading all over, delivering all the people in the other side of the world, for example, people started to say that, well, yes, we are familiar with these, mainly on the main concept, actually. So that's why John Kabat-Zinn and other scholars say that, yes, this is the secular, means like this is different from, this is not connected with any kind of religion. So whatever you have, for example, from your parents, from your country, for what kind of religion, if you have, let's say, you can use this mindfulness practices. It is not a psychological concept. It is not the concept on health. It is not the concept on business, for example, but you can use this mindfulness everywhere, because everywhere includes human and humanity and connection and people get together, because human being are the social being, as you know. So people always need the other people, and nowadays, especially for, let's say, 30-40 years, neuropsychology brought some proof that mindfulness is really good, effective on our body, on our mind, on our brain, on our immune system, for example. So there is an existential approach in mindfulness. Some people accept this as for example, I'm the psychotherapist, so psychologist. So I accept this as a existential approach. Like, for example, mindfulness starts with breath. Breath is our first companion. Every people born with the breath, actually, and say that hi to the words when they first take the breath. And the life ends with the last breath when we die, for example. So then we look at from that perspective, so we can say it is like mindfulness show us to connect with our heart, with our body, with our mind again. So that's why it's called it as thoughts, like similar to cognitive behavioral approach, actually, thoughts, body, and soul. So, well, we know that people are always connected with the other people. So we can say here that sympathetic and parasympathetic system. Maybe some of you already know that sympathetic system as providing us against a dangerous situation. Like, for example, your amygdala reacts when you have threats with the damage or any dangerous situation, for example, and then suddenly your sympathetic system activates, and then your muscles stronger, and your eyes is getting bigger and bigger. Your breath is just faster, and your heartbeat is faster than the previous, for example. So this is the sympathetic system, nervous system. But the sympathetic nervous system produces cortisol hormone. This is also called as the stress hormone. So what this is, people feel stress all the time, and this is normal. This is kind of like poison or your body all the time. If you feel alone, if you live out, if you stay alone, for example, even a noise can activate your sympathetic nervous system, and suddenly your body produces this cortisol hormone, which is bad normally in your body. But there is a different kind of the sympathetic nervous system, which is called the parasympathetic nervous system, actually, which produce oxytocin hormone, which produce melatonin, serotonin, dopamine, and something's good for your body. So mindfulness and such kind of neuropsychological information is really important, because if you are with the other people, if you love somebody, if you're loved by somebody, for example, if you call someone, if somebody show you compassion, for example, if somebody can hug you with the voice, for example. So instead of sympathetic nervous system, your parasympathetic nervous system activates, and the other one it deactivates. So that's why the connection with the other people and together with the other people are always good. And it is so the research result nowadays show that this is really effective for every area of where the people are, like, for example, addiction problems, post-traumatic stress disorders, and like the firms and everywhere people work in the business or something like that. So this is really important, especially provide the people connection and good relationship. But leadership is another important thing, because we know leaders are everything for a business. If the leader has a good relationship with the other people, leader and the other people can solve every kind of problem, every kind of things, actually. So that's why we always recommend start with leaders. So that's why leaders should learn mindfulness skills, mindful leadership skills. So what is mindfulness skills? And there are some kind of programs, like developed program, like for example, as I told you before, it is search inside yourself, or maybe craft your mind program, developed for the mindfulness in the workplace. So they're all including what I said already: being here and now, explore the world, explore the here and now with the five senses. And on the other side, on the other dimension, it includes some values necessary for human and necessary for being loved and love people, actually. So what are these 5 steps at the beginning? In order to be a good leader, for example, you should know yourself. You should accept yourself. So everything is start with self. If a leader ignore himself or herself, for example, he or she cannot connect with the other people. He or she cannot understand the other people's needs and feelings and thoughts, and cannot help the other people, cannot administer this firm, let's say, the business. So that's why mindful leadership start with first self-acceptance, knowing yourself. Begin with the self. So what is this? This is definitely spend time with yourself. Means like me time. Even the 3 minutes auto suggested. When you wake up, for example, one of the exercises we are suggesting to the old people, including the leader, is start the day with 3 things you gratitude for. Like maybe we can just consider here. Just for example, we can do the practice here for a minute, for example. It includes just the simple, really, it's the basic things. When you wake up in the morning, for example, instead of just running to the washroom and dressing or something like that, just maybe you can put your alarm 3 minutes earlier, and then you can take a deep breath. If possible, it can be from nostril, from your mouth, and gently exhale. And please close your eyes gently if it's comfortable for you. If it's not, you can just concentrate on somewhere in order not to get any outside voice or things. And please consider 3 things you feel gratitude for. Like, for example, I'm grateful for. I thank to, let's say, God for providing me my health, or thanks God for existence, for providing me my job, my love, my kids, anything. So research results conducted in Harvard University show that starting the day with these 3 things you're grateful for, providing you the whole day, it's a good, positive feelings. And if you practice it more, for example, so your week can be better because you expand your perception. You start to look at from the positive side of the life, actually. So accept your thoughts, your feelings. For example, John Kabat-Zinn says that thoughts are like the waves. You cannot stop the waves, but you can surf them. Like, for example, what comes in your mind and it's just going, you can watch it, you can observe it. Maybe we don't have time right now, but maybe you can try it after the webinar, for example. Please just try to concentrate on your thoughts and coming and going for 2 minutes, for example. And I've been in Nepal. I stayed in a monastery for 14, 15 days, actually. They suggested me at that time that please just sit silently in upright position and look at the white, if possible, white wall, and just leave your thoughts there and close gently your eyes. If the thoughts are coming your mind again, just open your mind, open your eyes and see they are leaving. So this is exactly with the feelings. Sometimes we feel up, good. Sometimes we feel down. But this is life. This is kind of like heart beating, actually. If the heart is working, so it is just if you see this EEG things, so the heart is just up and down and up and down. It's not stable anytime. If only the life is finished, so it's stable. So this is kind of like life. The feelings are like life, actually. So that's why today I can be happy, but tomorrow suddenly I can have a negative news, for example. I can feel down, and I always say to myself that, well, I have right to feel sadness sometimes. So I should feel my inner child. He is in sad hurted, we're pain. So I should show compassionate to just inner child. So this is, in summary, this is kind of like accepting yourself, accepting your thoughts and feelings. And the other one is emotional intelligence, we can call it. And I say it like emotional literacy. Do you know the signals coming from your body? This is connected with your thoughts and feelings. Every feelings has some location on your body. Some feelings located on your stomach, for example, or your chest, or your throat, or your head. So you can have some signals from there. If you may feel stomachache, for example, that means you have some problem with your digestive system, but digest the experience. So you should read what your body tells you. So this is the emotional literacy, we can call it. And if you accept this, if you see it, if you can read this, what your body try to say you something. So this is the this can provide us the emotional intelligence, bring our emotional intelligence actually, because emotional intelligence first start with the self, and then body, and then the empathy for the other people, and it also includes the motivation, and at the end it's connected all things together. So it includes in general the 5 steps in a cultural way, for example. So if we have ability to read, but our body signal, for example, we can regulate our emotions. So emotional intelligence includes this emotional regulation. So one of the way of emotional regulation is just reappraisal. When you look at emotion regulation theory, Gross says that 2 dimensions of emotion regulation, for example, one is reappraisal, the other one is suppression. Suppression means try to forget it, try to press it. So try to feel that it's not existed. I didn't experience such things or something, but your body reacted from somewhere. If you try to forget something, it's impossible to manage with these things, these different and hard life experiences. So that's why it is suppression is not good for health, because every time you may, maybe many years later, you may get it from your body actually. So the illness can be explained like this in especially the Tibetan medical doctors, let's say. So the other one is reappraisal. So reappraisal means, for example, that there's another research study conducted in the British Columbia University. So when you have a feelings, for example, just assume now, what kind of feelings do you have? It can be like excitement, anxious, happiness, love, or sadness, anything. You try to label it. So the research results show that even this one provides you to relax these feelings, because this provides you to relax your amygdala. So please try to label it at the beginning. What is this feeling? And what is the location of this feeling in your body? My feelings, negative feelings, most of the time locate on my chest. On my stomach. Most of the time I feel stomach upset, like stomach ache, and like my digestive system is just upside down. My bowels, for example, I feel I have diarrhea or something like that. So my digestive system, my stomach always give a reaction. So try to give a name to this one, and try to understand the color, for example, the shape. It is sharp shape, or it is soft, or maybe oval shape, or what? It is soft, or it is tough. It is like a rock. or it is a soft, maybe it's like water, liquid or something. So what kind of color it is. So try to accept this one as it is. Yes, if you accept this, and if you watch it, if you show some compassion to these feelings, for example, so you can see it gently melting and it's gone. So this is the reappraisal kind of reappraisal practice, let's say. And if you want to regulate your emotion, you can also use some other strategies, like for example with 5 senses. Let's say just listen to some relaxation music. It change your alpha and theta waving on your brain, and then you may feel relaxed and regulate your emotion. Or you may get some things to smell, for example. It is also doing that. You may get a vision, let's say, if you have a picture in your wallet, let's say, from somebody, or if you can imagine, you can visualize somebody's or somewhere in your mind. So this can also, it is like a secured place we used in psychotherapy. So the other one is the motivation. So we should always know how to motivate ourselves. Life is going on, and it's sometimes bad, it's sometimes good, as we know, as we accept actually. But in any case, life is going on. Unfortunately, we cannot stop the waves, we cannot stop the life, because something comes, you can come up with some things unexpected, for example, but if you have the ability to watch it and you can manage yourself, you cannot manage the people or outside the things. Like for example, just assume that if there's a rain outside, what can you do? You can get an umbrella or coat. You cannot stop the rain. If the sun has come up, for example, then you can close your umbrella. You cannot stop the sun rising or sun, for example. So it is like this philosophy saying that you cannot change the other things or other people. You can only change yourself. So that's why we know how to motivate ourselves. There's a two important motivation style: inner motivation and outer motivation. For example, inner motivation is like loving things, loving what you do. For example, your job. Well, if you do this job only for earning money, or like, for example, providing some position, getting promotion or something like that, if anytime you need something for yourself, so you can just ignore, you can just stop the outside motivation actually. But if you accept it as your hobby, let's say, or the things you love, so that's why it's turned to inner motivation. So you can go to your work with a smile and with love and things, with excitement actually. So there's some other things, some other strategy to motivate yourself. So this one was, we cannot change the time, we cannot change the world, for example. The other one, if we allow what we do, so everything can be good. Otherwise, life should be difficult every time, and your nervous system, sympathetic nervous system, produce cortisol all the time, as if you will have a threat suddenly, and like you should be alert all the time. So this must be difficult to experience the time like that. And the other one is the empathy. After showing empathy toward yourself, it's easy to show the empathy to other people, because we get the ability to accept the other people as they are. We already know that we cannot change the other people, we can only change ourselves. And every people has a story. Every people has a story. We have no idea about what the other people experience in the morning. For example, breakout, maybe the kid ill, maybe lost his or her dad or mom or something like that. But we treat these people badly, for example. After that, if we heard about the story, we may feel sorry or something like that. So some negative feelings. So showing empathy, starting with ourselves, and after learning ourselves, after accepting the other people as they are, we can start a good connection, relationship with the other people. So that means it starts with the intrapersonal relationship, then interpersonal relationship. So as a leader, if a leader learns all these steps, start with his or her own life, and then everything can be good for him or her and can lead the other people easily, actually, because they have a good connection with the other people. So these are such some kind of mindful leadership characteristics and style. And as you see here, people first should start leading his or her own life. Then people can lead the other people. In general, it is like that. So let's start leading our life mindfully then. Maybe I can stop here for a while and I can get if any question, and it's already 14 minutes we had.
Perfect. Yeah, so I think my internet wasn't able to join. So yeah, I'll just ask a couple of questions, and then we can see if there are any comments as well. So yeah, January, thank you very much for this beautiful presentation. I believe it's very important to start with yourself and to take this responsibility for yourself. And because the person comes first, you know, like in the airplane, they say you have to put the mask first on yourself and then on the child. So
yeah. That's a good metaphor, and that's a good phrase.
Yeah. So it's beautiful that first, when you show compassion to yourself, you understand how it feels, and then you know how to show compassion to others. Because if you don't, if not able to give yourself what you want, like give this attention to yourself, give this kindness to yourself, how can you find it inside yourself to give it to other people if you don't have this, you know, this?
Yes, exactly.
Well, so my question was, you know, how to navigate through difficult times, maybe how to build boundaries with other people, because sometimes, you know, the family situation could be that children are, you know, not behaving well, for example, or at work you have a lot of conflicts. How to build the boundaries between the people, how to, you know, ask for this personal space. Are there any techniques of communication there?
Well, it starts with the communication with the other people, actually. In a family or in a community, for example, everybody should give at least 5 minutes to themselves. So that's why it's based on the contract, for example, in the family, for example. I remember like a couple of years ago, my son was just young, and I used to tell him that while he was sitting next to me, I used to tell him that, well, I need to do my 10 minutes meditation right now. Can I do this? And he used to say, sure. And he used to play around, he used to do something, but he used to respect at me. And I used to do, I mean, they had only one room, for example, at that time. And I didn't used to ask him to go another room, or I asked to go another room or something. I used to do just concentrate on myself. Sometimes we can use some phone application like alarming, like for example, there's a program, Insight Timer, free program actually. There's a Bing voice, and it's good in background voice. Sometimes you can use it. So it's remind you the time. It start with the voice and sound, let's say, and it's finished with the sound. So in the meantime, you can concentrate on yourself. So this is the boundary, as you said, actually. So every person, every people should understand the personal space that the other people has. So for example, me should understand the personal space to provide the other people in my family, for example.
Yeah, it's a very important concept. What would you say about saying no? Like, is it important to
Yeah,
say no
yeah,
to
yeah.
someone with disability?
This is another important thing, as you said. Yeah, I should say no. I mean, this is based on the contract with the other people, actually. So it
Mm-hmm.
should be, I mean, people should be open. If they don't want to do something, they shouldn't do anything. And the other people should respect the other people's wish.
Yeah, perfect. This is very important. So, is there any technique, like in particular, if you know, person is coping with too much and there is a lot of stress? I remember you mentioned that we can focus on our breath, so
Mm-hmm.
or on you know, like use the visual technique of looking at objects, using the
Yeah.
smell, using the sense. Are there any uh, other techniques for that to, you know, to relieve the stress immediately and to be able to navigate this wave?
Yeah, movement, for example, or which watching movement. If you don't have any chance to do movement, like for example, walking is always good for our stress reduction because while you're walking, your right and left hemisphere working at the same time. So there's a corpus callosum between them. So the mindfulness practices provides the corpus callosum activates, so provides the working right and left hemisphere at the same time. So movement, walking is always good. But if you don't have any chance to move at that time, for example, and the scholar suggests, which is, I mean, which I experience and it makes me feel good all the time, just look outside, for example. If you have a tree around, you can watch the tree so you can see this movement because it's activated your brain waves. And also, if you don't have any trees or nature, anything, you can just watch this, observe the cars just going and again, the movement. So that provides us that life is going on and the world is just turning around.
Yeah, definitely. So, I think you also mean that distracting from this conflict, right? So if you have this conflict within yourself or the stress, it's good to distract yourself and just look at something else, like at
Yeah.
so focus on the other things, other positive things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that doesn't mean that you suppress the feelings or something. Just accept the
Right. Yeah.
feelings and just, I mean, I already mentioned about the strategy you can use, like, for example, the labeling of the feelings, like locating, finding the location of this feeling on your body, for example, what kind of things it is. Or it's just accepting, though. It's just, and knowing that it's just came. I mean, it's just come and go, the feelings and the thoughts and everything. That, for example, it's just 45 minutes left already. So we cannot bring the time back, past back.
Mhm.
So know that time is just flying, it's just going on. So as much as possible, we should be here and now. If we, there's a nice phrase said by Lao Tzu, say that if you feel depressed, please just observe, watch your thoughts. Probably you think the past. If you feel anxious, please just see, watch your thoughts. Probably you feel the next time like future. But if you feel peace, probably you are here and now. So try to be here and now as much as possible.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, I remember the saying that if you are depressed, you regret the past. If you are anxious, you think about the future.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's
Mm-hmm.
very important to live in the present moment and to
Yes.
appreciate the things that you have. Maybe you can give our audience the exercise about gratefulness. Remember that you said that every yeah,
Every
to
morning.
morning
I mean,
and
impossible.
remember
If
about three
possible.
things. Yeah.
Or if you feel anxious, or if you feel depressed, if you feel like negatively, and there's another strategy called that. Whenever you have hard things, hard feelings, experience at that time, you can gently close your eyes and think three things that you're grateful for. Like, for example, fortunately, I have my son. Fortunately, I have my health. Fortunately, I have my job. So there are some really great things we should see it. So, for example, we can connect to each other right now because we have internet, and I have I have this place, I have work. So there's a good things to connect us to the world actually, and we should see this. People try to find happiness most of the time, but they most of the time they concentrate on looking for instead of happiness. So that's why they're just all the time we're rushing for finding happiness, but this happiness is already there. Like, for example, I can drink this water because I can have ability to drink water, and I have this water, let's say. So there are many things to see, but people we always try to find what we don't have. So that's why this is like life is like searching all the time. If you have a bicycle, for example, you may want to get a car. If you have a car, for example, you may want to get the last model. Or if you have a last model car, for example, you can have better brands and luxury brands. Then it goes with yacht, private jet, and everything. You see,
and so on.
There's no end. There's no end.
Yeah, definitely. So gratefulness is a great tool for you to concentrate on the positive in your life and what you already have. That's very important. Yeah, so maybe we can give our viewers a homework, and then in the comments they can write what have they done and how it changed their life. Yeah, it's very important. I also been doing one exercise. I think I read it somewhere. It's writing the positive things throughout the day, like what you're grateful for before sleep.
Yeah.
Summarizing it. Yeah. It's not very easy to do. It's not very easy to find the time, but I'm doing some coaching sessions now, and it's a group coaching. And basically they said that just write 5 things that you're grateful for in a chat. And it's so fast, so easy, but it just gives you habits of being grateful every day and have this mentality, to develop this mentality.
So as you see, this is the kind of philosophy, art of life, actually, looking the other perspective, looking the life from the positive perspective, because it's easy to see the things from negative actually, because we have many things all the time. We have economic crisis, for example, we have health problem, we just just COVID is just finished, it is not finished still, the affecting the people or something. There are many things negative, but we should look from the positive side all the time. Well, this is not the dream or something. Well, you can get the life on the negative side, that's fine. But you can die earlier than normal, because this cortisol hormone, stress hormone, produce kind of poison to your life body all the time.
Yeah, so it's just important.
Thank you very much
for your performance today. It's beautiful and it's very helpful for us. So
anytime, if you want to talk, if you want to invite me again for another issue, for example, I would be more than happy to join you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I will contact you in the months, because we already have a program. But definitely let's do it again, because it was extremely helpful and you provided a lot of very good exercises. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
See
you again then.
Bye. See you.